Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Killer's Soup. We had to raise the testosterone level because in this episode we got Damien Puckler. Now, if you enjoy this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you did not enjoy this episode, subscribe anyway. But now, on with the show. Martial arts expert, actor, stuntman, animal fanatic, fitness trainer, chef, unattractive man. Only one of these statements is false. That's right, Damien Puckler is not a chef. Damien Puckler,
Nice.
Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
What should I say? See ya after that introduction. Nice.
No, how's things going? You good in this lockdown or this coronavirus age that we live in?
I'm good. I'm holding up.
Yeah.
That's all you can say at this point. I think everybody just has to stay. We just have to stay positive. I mean, what else we got, right? I mean, at this point, we just have to all go. We're going to get through this no matter what. I mean, it's a bitch, if I may say so. So
Fair.
yeah.
Fair enough. I wanted to start off actually by asking you are not natively American.
No.
Yeah, right. Can you tell me a little bit about your background?
How long is this show?
As long as you want it to be. That's what she said.
People always ask me, this is actually a story, my whole life story. And people always ask me, where are you from? And I always go, how much time do you have? It's very, very complicated with me. I say I should really tattoo on my forehead. I am an international human being. I'm a man of the world. I really am. My mom is German. My dad's actually Russian. Well, a Russian born in Czechoslovakia during the Second World War, which God knows what that makes him. I was born in Germany, but since my birth, I literally have lived everywhere and anywhere you name it. I've been around the globe so many times that I don't really know what I call home. I don't really have a home. I always say the world is my home. I used to be, as a teenager or as a child, I was always being teased about that. And it was tough for me to take. But now, actually, now that I'm older, I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of the fact that I know so many people all over the place, all over the world. I love that. I mean, that's why people always say, how do you know what's going on in Thailand? Well, how do you know what's going on in Australia? Well, it's because I have people there that I know personally that will actually tell me exactly what's going on instead of all the news that, tell you all sorts of things. So yeah, I don't know. Where am I from? Earth.
Hey, quite well said. Well said. And then, of course,
I have deep roots in Scotland, by the way.
That was just from your last visit.
Yeah, you guys made me wear the kilt the whole time. It's a little cold, a little chilly from underneath.
It makes you a man.
Yeah, apparently.
And then, I've got like some statements here, or some statements you can tell me what's true and what's false.
Oh, Jesus.
It's all to do with martial arts.
Okay.
Black belt in karate.
That is true. Shotokan.
Because
a lot of people go, well, what kind of karate?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Thanks for clarifying. No, it's fine. Taekwondo.
Yeah, black belt in Taekwondo.
A Muay Thai kickboxing world champion.
That is true. Yeah.
Now you got to tell me about your respect.
That's a long time ago, but that's true.
Oh, the Devil's Hands of Dim Mak.
And everybody always asks me about that too, because everybody thinks of Bloodsport and Dim Mak and the power of walking past somebody and touching them on the shoulder and they drop dead. That's not true. Dim Mak actually is a pressure point fighting system. Krav Maga uses it a lot. Not Dim Mak, but they use a pressure point fighting system. And Dim Mak is just a Chinese version of a pressure point fighting system. We all have nerve endings in our body, and you also know that acupuncture and Dim Mak actually are very related. You have nerve endings that can heal you if you put a needle in or if you massage it. But you also have nerve endings that if you punch it or you poke it or you put pressure on it, it can either really hurt you or it can really damage you. So, I mean, you all know if you hit your elbow down here and stuff like that, it hurts more than if you just hit part of the flesh. So it's a pressure point fighting system that I studied in out of all places, Melbourne, Australia. And And I actually taught it. I taught it too. I taught it to a lot of police and military forces all over the world.
Yeah, cool. See, now I know something I didn't know before. But then all your martial arts fighting that came to an end with injury.
Yes, with one particular injury. I had a motorcycle crash. I remember getting on the motorcycle, and then I woke up in the hospital, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" I said, "Well, you had a motorcycle crash. You crashed your motorbike." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, that's good. So when can I get up and go back to training?" He goes, "Oh, well, you're not going to go back to training. You're lucky if you're going to be walking." I'm like, "What the?" So yeah, that was at the height of my, whatever you want to call it, career, and my dreams were literally shattered within a second. It changes you. I always say that changed my life, and in a way, ironically, for the better, because I was a very temperamental, very cocky, and quite self-centered asshole, which was great for my fighting, but it wasn't great for life. And in a way, that kind of humbled me so much that I had to, readjust and actually figure out what I want to do with myself, how am I going to move forward. I mean, everything. I mean, from suicidal thoughts to trying to go back to being a crook to whatever. And, but it really changed me, because I had to really sit down and look at myself and go, what else am I actually good at? Is there anything else I can do? Because the only thing I ever wanted to do and was good at naturally was fighting, ironically. So I had to really, it was tough.
Oh. And you went from, so did you change? You said you changed from being a self-centered asshole. You just changed to being a standard asshole.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a standard. Just, I mean, you would probably say, where you're from, you would say the standard Scottish asshole, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Standard Scottish asshole. Right.
Oh, and you did almost a Connery accent. Just.
Oh wow, dude! I'm telling you, it's such a shame. I mean, he had an amazing life, and he was not young. But I am one of the biggest Sean Connery fans. So to me, that was like, oh man, no, come on.
Yeah.
It's just he was awesome.
I think awesome. I mean, he's had an amazing career, controversial comments and things, but I think he looked at 20 and was just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And dare I say so, I'm a guy, but I'm going to say this is the only man that got better looking the older he got. It's like, holy crap, how do you do that? That's insane.
Absolutely.
Insane. Yeah.
Then you got into acting. So you went from being a fighter, you got injured, and then it was a switch of career. Like how?
Oh yeah, I just went straight into acting and was completely successful. That's exactly how it went. No, as I said, I had quite a bit of time to. First of all, I had to do a lot of rehab, physically rehabbing, because they said I wasn't going to walk. I mean, I literally thought I wasn't going to walk, and it took me probably about 1.5 years to 2 years to actually walk relatively normal. But no, I was a little lost for a while, and I got into, because of a girlfriend, I got into stunts, and did that as much as I could. Kind of loved it, liked it, because it's physical, And then they kept asking me if I can, deliver a couple of lines. I was like, I don't know. Because sometimes they don't want to, hire an actor and a stuntman. They can, if the acting part has one line, they don't want to hire two people. It'd be easier if the person just says one line. But a lot of stuntmen are scared to actually deliver lines. It's because it's such a different thing. So I just say, maybe it's not a bad idea if I go to an acting school. Why not? I mean, it would be fun. It'd be fun to do. And went to an acting school, and believe it or not, the guy who, 15 years later, earlier would say, oh, Shakespeare, what a pile up, I absolutely loved it. I was like, this is really cool, man. I kind of felt like Sean Connery, I was like, that kind of like, no, it was really, really amazing. Never felt that I was great at it, but I was like, this is fun. I enjoyed it. And fighting always gave me that kind of orgasmic energy, and that that you really kind of crave and desire. Yeah, that rush. And acting didn't give me that, but it gave me enjoyment. I was like, I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, came out of the drama school and was like, nah, I'm going to be a famous actor. No, not at all. I just wanted to, you know, be keep doing my stunts and hopefully maybe doing a bit of acting here on the side. Acting became actually a little bit more and more here and there. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I kind of, you know, did both at the same time and kind of worked out, I suppose. Can't say that right now because after this Corona year, I don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
What's even going on with the industry? But yeah, so it kind of fell into it, to be honest.
It's funny because your first credit for acting, you're on IMDb. Your first credit is you're Damien Puckler, your studio assistant. And that was the film. That was the film with one hell of a cast. You know, it's Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, Kate Blanchett, John Turturro.
Well, I tell you a story about that. I could tell you a mean little Hollywood story about that, but I won't. I'll actually tell you a funny little story about that. This was my first job ever as an actor in The Man Who Cried. Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci. I mean, huge stars. And I had a scene with Christina Ricci, and I was a studio assistant. I was supposed to walk around. She was supposed to walk up and go, "Excuse me, I'm looking for blah blah blah." And I said, "Why would I? You know, who are you?" And she'd say, "Well, it's my dad." And I would go, "Oh, your dad?" Oh, anybody can say that. That's that. Just, you know, kind of like a side little scene, so she gets to the person that she needs to get to. So I was on set and I was walking around getting ready, and all of a sudden I hear "and action," and I went, "What the I had no idea I was supposed to be already on, or then nobody told me anything. So I was like, oh, right, and I completely fucked up the whole scene. And I was like, oh my God, I completely ruined this. My whole career is over. And all I hear is like, okay, let's reset. The lights were all off. Audio was off. Let's redo it. They didn't even care what I was doing, because as I learned after years of doing this, the first take is usually just a rehearsal anyway, because the lights have to be right, the camera has to be right, the audio has to be right. There's so many things that you're kind of testing out. But I thought my career was over right there and then. It was like, oh. So it took me a couple of takes to calm down, and I did, and I did the scene. I was like, oh, cool, okay, good, yeah. And then I was invited to the premiere with my then girlfriend, and we were so excited. I was like, wow, feature film, huge fun. I'm gonna have a small scene, but it doesn't matter. My face, my mug on this huge screen is gonna be, yeah, man. So my scene comes up, and the shot they took was like a long shot, like it was like 5 miles away from us. You saw these two little people getting together, and then they started talking, and my girlfriend looks over to me and goes, "That's not your voice." And I go, "No, they dubbed my voice," because the audio was off, I found out later. So I'm like this small, and he's not even my voice. That was the excitement. I walked out of that going, wow, okay, that's different than I expected. And that's another thing I learned. You really don't know what's actually going to come out in the end, and what you're actually going to look like or whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't ever think, oh, this was great, I'm going to look great in this. And you go, oh, God. And then sometimes you go, that was crap. And you go, that was actually pretty good. So, it's never done and dusted, and never the way you expect it to be. It's strange business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going slightly for a more serious matter. You were on the TV movie Let's Roll, the story of Flight 93 as a real person, as Jeremy Glick.
I'm actually very, 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 very proud of that.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask,
I'm not even talking about, I'm not saying I'm proud of my acting. I don't know. Some people really loved it. Some people were like, I don't know. Story about that too. So I got that. I was in England. It was just right after 9/11. It was the first time that the relatives of the deceased victims from that flight gave permission to ITV, not an American channel, not an American TV show, nothing. They gave it to ITV to give them permission to actually do a drama documentary about it. So it's like half fiction, as in they and some of it is documentary style. So they discuss it with the relatives, and then they go back to the what possibly happened in the plane. And I had to play Jeremy Glick, and I was like, oh my God, because this was a person. Not only has he died, he was also a serious hero of what he actually did, right? And I did not want to look bad in this. I wanted to make him look as good as I. And that was early in my career. I was like, oh man, I have to be good at this. I have to do a good job at this. And I had all these different people in the show had their phone calls. This was all based on the phone calls that they had. Everyone was talking to their, but my phone call, the longest phone call, aside from mine, was 7 minutes. My phone call was 24 minutes. So I had the longest phone call. So I had a transcript of the phone call that they gave me, which I also did the audition with, but I went home and I had to, learn it. And so I learned and I did all this thing. And I'm looking at all these things, and it's transcripts are strange. It's not like a script, it's not dramatized, nothing. Yeah. You read it and you go, that almost makes no sense. What does that even mean, right? And so you learn it. It's very different type of learning your lines. And you make choices. I mean, you think this guy knows he's about to die. How is he going to react to this? So I made all these choices. I get on set. We were actually at an airport, and we were using an actual plane that was the same plane that crashed, right? We were shooting in that plane. So we were at an airport, and they said, okay, so you're playing Jeremy Glick. You're going to go into this van right there, and we're going to – I did not know this was happening. I didn't know this was going to be happening. We're going to play to you the original recording of that phone call. And I went, oh, no one had heard that phone call. They hadn't even shown it on TV.
Yeah.
Right? So and it was only the actor and another person. Like anybody else wasn't allowed to hear my phone call. So I went into the van, and they played that phone call to me. Now, first of all, every choice I made, I threw out of the window. Because none of the choices I made as an actor realized wasn't real. There is a thing in the phone call. He says, I love you, I think almost 30-something times, and repetitive, right? And I had made all these choices of, I love you, whatever. In the phone call, he just went, I love you, 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 I love you. And I went, what the fuck? It seemed like he was almost mocking the situation, but it was just his emotions was overtaking him. He didn't know what else. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm not kidding. I came out of that van. I was a wreck. I was like, I felt like shit. They told me right away, get into the plane, and we started recording. And I always remember the director coming up to me after the first take, and the only take, by the way, and he goes, fucking awesome, nailed it, love it. And I go, wait a minute, we're not going to shoot again? He goes, no, we don't have to. And again, I'm not saying that I was amazing, but it was for me a very interesting moment, because drama school, for former fighter, very physical and all this stuff, all these choices and everything. In the end, it came down to getting into that mode, into that mood, going on there. I don't remember any of it. I remember that my hands fell asleep while I was doing it because I was so stressed out. My eye got bloodshot because I was so stressed out, because I had just been listening to this, and then I was here, and I had no time to really relax and focus. And it was great because it was perfect, because he would have been in that situation completely fucking stressed out. I hope we can swear on this podcast, because you have me on. You have me on. So anyway, that was wow. That was a very, very intense, and to this day I'm very proud of it. I've seen a lot of the Americans. Shouldn't say that, the Americans, but America did a whole drama documentary and a film about it too. Yeah, I haven't actually seen it.
United 93. I think.
Yeah, exactly. But it's that first one that came out like 2 or 3 years after, before everybody else. That was it was a big thing, and it turned out pretty darn good, I think.
Yeah, you just answered. I was just going to go into how was it feeling like playing a real person who actually passed away, and yeah, amazing answer. And it must be something very special to be included in, considering how big an impact it was.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, totally.
I want to just switch over to 2 credits I'd like you to talk to me about, because I'm a little bit.
Is that Pornhub is on IMDb?
Yes, it might be.
Right. Oh dear.
30,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Journey at the Center of the Earth. 2 adventure stories.
Oh, how lovely! Yes. Well, those films are all done with a certain production company called The Asylum. The Asylum is known for taking films that are out there and making kind of like a mock-off or a whatever, like a wannabe copy of it, just cheap, and then putting it. They used to put it in Blockbuster, so the mother would go and get her son 30,000 Leagues, or the center of the Journey to the Center of the Earth. That was the time when Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser came out, and they did the same. So they just, you know, she would buy the wrong film, but she would pay the money. But they're done literally in about 2 weeks. They're done. They're like this, boom, boom, boom. Having said all that, they were an amazing training ground because, again, I hadn't had much experience, and you go on a set like that, and they're like, you have, if you say, excuse me, what's my motivation? You're already on the way out somewhere. They kick you in the butt. You don't have time for that kind of shit. You know, you have no time for anything. They don't care about anything. You know, it's just boom, boom, boom. And it's not like, you know, you're like, can I do this again? No. Let's move on. I was like, what the, you know, so it's hard. It's hardcore. It's, I think it's great training because, you know, you learn about all the technical sides, you know, technical stuff, but you also really have to be on the ball and get going.
I guess almost like a soap opera or TV, you know.
Oh,
where it's very, very quick.
Yeah.
Straight into B-movie horror with camel spiders.
Ooh, yeah, camel spiders. I had a very, very small part in that, actually.
Yeah, well, that's Bork.
Yeah, Bork. I think it's captain or general or whatever it was. I'm pretty much just driving in a car with another guy, and we say, hey, we should stop at this place, and we stop at this. They had more for this character because he was supposed to go to that same restaurant everybody else goes to, and then fight the spiders, but they didn't have time, so they just literally. I'm just literally saying, wake up and go. Let's stop there, and that's it. And that's it. Done.
It was.
It
was one of those beautiful. Tiny budget, like special effects over the top.
It's way over the top.
Dragons see Thomas Howell out from somewhere and throwing him in a movie.
Yes.
I'm probably
gonna. The cool thing is that was shot in Lone Pine. I don't know if you know that. Lone Pine is an area up north, and a lot of westerns were filmed there. And they also shot the Transformers there, the first one, and beautiful. So I would have never actually seen that. So again, it was great to find that.
Yeah. It's the original Transformers. I assume that you mean the Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, no, that's not. I know the original is totally different. But yeah, the yes.
Yeah.
The Michael Bay one.
Yes. I've got, you know, don't quiz me on Transformers. It's my my baby. So.
Is it? So what do you think of the Michael Bay ones?
It's nowhere near. There's not a patch on the movie on Transformers the movie.
Yeah,
it's the absolute best. So, I've actually got. I'm going to actually ask. So I've got a friend called Alex who wanted to come and ask you a question.
Okay, good. So, I'm glad you have a friend.
Thanks very much, man. You know, it's much appreciated. You're so kind to me all the time.
Yeah. You pay him well, or?
Sorry.
You pay him well, or?
I just have to take him out of the basement, you know,
yeah,
if we had a basement. So there we go. Hey Alex, it
just said Lois.
Lois
instead of Alex. Okay, good, just checking. I don't know.
See if he pops up.
Maybe he identifies as Lewis, so you need to make sure what I'm talking to.
Trying to say that, you know.
She's already gone. He's like, I'm not talking.
He's probably like this. He's actually really shy. So anyway, but yeah, let's see if he actually eventually shows up. I'm going to cut all this out, by the way. Thanks for keeping the thing flowing, Alex. It's all good.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks.
He's also from your area, or
no.
Where's he from?
Just somebody that I've been speaking to online a lot. It's one of those people, one of those friends.
Oh, so where's he from? Where's he located? You don't even know, do you?
I do.
See how much you know your friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's because hey, look, I pay them. I don't have to get the details of it.
You're so glad you have a friend. You're not going to ask where he's from. You don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. Don't want to scare him. Jesus. Thanks, Alex.
Is he just not there, or is it just not connecting? Doesn't seem to be connecting. Right?
Yeah, it's the connection. It's probably.
Maybe email him or something.
Hi.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
I can hear. I can.
I couldn't get on.
I can hear you.
Huh?
I can hear you though.
Hi. Oh, I can't.
Alex, you're on the podcast with Damien. Do you want to ask a question?
Yeah. I'm nervous. I'm sorry.
I didn't have to be nervous. I'm nervous around Liam as well, so we're both nervous, Alex.
Yeah, I can see you.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, blue eyes.
I did.
Hey, all right. My questions. How do you get in shape?
Well, I mean, again, people always ask me that. I started my life as a professional athlete, so I just always been very physical, and I have also got so much energy and temper as well, ironically or sadly, that I need to work out every day. If I don't work out, I get very grumpy. My brother always says if I haven't worked out for a couple of days, he goes, I'm not talking to you. So work out and then come back to me. I'm not talking to you if you haven't worked out. So it's more of a must for me than something I actually do for fun.
I loved you in Grimm.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Hey, with the spider on your chest, what's that about?
That is that spider. That's a actual picture from a spider I actually used to have called Tara. It was a tarantula, so I called her Tara. And when she passed away, I had a tattoo put on my chest. She used to sit on my shoulder, and during the day I would walk around with her on my shoulder, and like a parrot, she would walk across my shoulders sometimes. And I had friends who were like arachnophobic, scared of spiders, and they were so scared of her. But after a few days or so and getting to know her, they actually even came around like, oh, cool,
Wow, that's so cool. It's so cool.
You have any pets or?
No, you know what? No, I don't. I wish I did.
Here's a tail coming in. That's my cat. What do you want? Come here. Say hi. Hi.
Yeah. Oh, how cute. How cute.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Okay.
For you.
Why are you such a dick?
I got my little Damien chopping.
Dude, hey, Gary, that's the best acting you've ever done, ever.
You're a very sweet guy, man. You know what? I can tell you're like going, sure, yeah.
Well, I was just waiting for him to go, so do you like men or women? I would always just answer, I only like Gary. Nice one. I could not tell. Good voice. Seriously, you should really. Maybe you should take some acting classes.
You know what? Hey, Dave, that's my Michael Jackson voice. You know, my buddy always used to tell a story about when Michael Jackson, he met him, and then he goes, "Hi, you're the bad guy." You know, and my buddy was like, "Yeah, I was playing a bad guy at Universal," and he goes, "Yeah." So that was my Michael Jackson voice.
I should have known. I should have known when you weren't able to connect because you sucked.
Listen to this. So I put tape over the camera, and then I couldn't get the audio on. I was like going, "Oh crap!" And all of a sudden, I finally read the thing, and it went. That's why I had my glasses on. I was like, "Oh, audio."
Oh, I thought you had a mask on. Sorry. Halloween's over. You can take that mask off now.
So we did our podcast the other day, and I had to ask the question. I was like, "Oh, can we just get you on and just do this?"
That is awesome.
We weren't sure that you would go for it. We weren't sure if you'd go for it, but you're just too nice.
That was perfect.
Hey, David, we punk each other so much. I thought you'd go. Hey, Gary, is that you?
No, dude. Yeah, no, because honestly, if it was wrong, I feel really bad for the guy because he sounded like somebody who was very. You don't want to people like that. If they're
I figured that.
You do not want to do that. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
We didn't discuss a backstory because Damien was like, "Where's your friend from?" I'm like, He's like, "You don't even know."
That's hilarious, man.
Oh
man.
Anyway,
well, obviously now I know he's from the Asylum Center. Nice.
All right, you guys.
Okay, before you leave, you got to do me one favor.
Yeah.
You got to bing the bong gong thing there. Let's go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I hit my head on that.
Listen.
You're going to get up and catch it on.
Gary, did you hear that? Your balls just dropped.
I'll do it again. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, the second one. The second one.
Oh, no, he's broken
second one isn't dropping. You just have one now.
We'll
sucked way up in there.
We're gonna
Go figure. Yeah,
we're gonna be
exactly.
doing this again. We're gonna be doing this again for the Redwood commentary as well. So that should be fun.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure after this one.
So, hey, are we doing the together? Me and Damien are going to do watch the movie and talk about it.
Yeah. I'll referee.
We're gonna.
And,
We're gonna watch the movie, cuddle up, have popcorn, make out.
You and
All of it.
were hysterical, man. It was very funny. Dude, that kid.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You know, it's funny because the sound was off in the beginning for a long time.
The whole thing.
We that wasn't the only thing we said. Trust me. There's also one thing I don't know. There's one thing. There's quite a few things I said about you, Gary, but I'm glad you didn't hear it.
Made it on.
Because otherwise we would have not done this today.
You would have made it worse. The questions would have been more awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
All right, man.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.
Take care, and I'll be talking to you guys. All right.
Now we got to wait for half an hour.
See you, Alex. Oh man, that was a good one. I like it. Perfect.
Gary Casper, everyone. You starting Death Factory with Gary?
Yes, I did. Please don't remind me. I did, but you know what? I did star with Gary in Death Factory. That was the first film we did together, but I had no scene with him.
Yeah.
So, we never actually acted together. And Redwood was the first one, and we really, it was actually quite enjoyable. Ironically, Gary and me too, we were both a little worried about the fact that once we actually, get on camera and we had to act, that because we goof around all the time. We take the piss out of each other all the time. And we were both worried that we were going to start taking the piss out of each other while we were actually filming. And I actually like that. We are both able to just, boom, switch it on, stay focused, and completely ruin the shot. But that's because of the acting and nothing to do with us taking the piss. But, yeah.
I'm going to switch on to what would probably be your big success story. Which is getting added to the cast of Grimm.
Back to Pornhub.
Yeah. I should have known.
Yes.
Yeah. So, how did you get your move into Grimm and become Meissner?
Oh, easy. I just called the producer and said I want to be in the show, and he said, "Yeah, sure, come on over." It's funny because my grandmother, I love her to bits. Rest in peace. Beautiful, most beautiful woman. She once said to me when I first started doing this acting thing, she said to me, I just saw this she's German grandmother, a very lovely man. You have to call him. His name is Stefan Spielberg. You have to call him. He will give you a job. And he said, okay, that's grandmother. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I love it. Yes.
But did you?
I call him, of course. Yeah, I was in Schindler's List. You just don't know. One of those, anyway. But no, Grimm. Yeah. Quite a story too. I was living in a trailer, taking care of a ranch, quite broke, working my ass off, and was kind of done with the acting. It wasn't really working out. I had a manager who sent me to an audition for small people. Midget, you're not supposed to say midget. Small people is what you say, right? And I called her and I said, what the fuck, man? I mean, why you send me up for that? And she goes, well, I made a mistake. I didn't really look at the thing. And I was like, you know what? And she had done stuff like that before. I was like, fuck this. I'm done. I fired her and I was over it. I was like, I'm retired. I'm done. I'm over this. And I talked to my brother about it, who was a manager for script screenwriters, directors, and comic artists. He has no actors on his books. But he said, listen, I can't, after all these years, I can't let you just chuck it in. So why don't you just let me represent you as an actor? And I said, yeah, whatever. So one night after having trained people all day, taking care of the ranch, taking care of the horses, I mean, I was shattered. I got like 3 hours of sleep during those days, And at 11 o'clock at night, he goes, hey, dude, I have an audition for you for this show called Grimm. Can you just self-tape yourself? I went, oh, man, seriously. When you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the last thing you want to do is have to do a self-tape. And I went, it's my brother. I'm not going to say no. right? So I did it. Next day they call me and go, hey, this is a great take. Who are you? Because I sent it to them. I should have gone through my brother. I didn't know what he wanted me to do, so it was all a mix-up. So I had him call them, and they figured out. So I said, yeah, well, we would like you on the show as this character called Meisner. I was told that they needed somebody who could do a stunt scene, a fight scene, and who could speak German. It's supposed to be one day, not one day, but one episode where he gets introduced, fights, and dies. When I go up there, I went up there, I did the scene in the train, the first scene in the train, just speaking German, but there was no fight, nothing. And I was like, I thought I was supposed to die. And he go, well, yeah, we extended this a little bit. So you have to come back a couple more times, and then you have your fight scene and die. And then after that happened, so I was like, yeah, cool. You know, a little bit more exposure for whatever it's worth. And I had lunch, dinner, I don't know, either one, with one of the producers and writers of Grimm, who found out about my background, my Muay Thai, my career, fighting and everything, and he was like, look, you can't just have a little fight scene, man. Not with you. We gotta have a real fight scene. I mean, if we already got you here, we gotta have a real fight scene. So he said, well, we're gonna extend the character a little bit because people seem to like it, and we're gonna have the fight scene later. Ironically, people really liked the character, and they kept keeping him in the show. And by the time I got to the fight scene, they had decided to do a huge fight scene, and me winning the fight scene and not dying, and then they didn't know what to do with me, so they made the character go into hiding in the woods. So that was my whole first, season, and that was season 3. And then I was hiding, the character was hiding in the woods, and I thought, okay, I don't know what that means. And then I was off for the whole entire 4th season, and I thought I was done. I thought they just, that's it, that's the end of it. I was back to, just trying to make ends meet. I was teaching at a school that, lectures personal trainers who want to become personal trainers. So I was kind of a professor at a university. An Indiana Jones type of professor, just, letting you guys know. No.
Throwing your hat into Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden I get a call from my brother, and I said, hey, Grimm called. They want you back for the last episode of season 4. And I said, they do know I wasn't in season 4, right? They go, yeah, but they want you there. And I ended up being like almost, I have no idea if you've seen the show, but I ended up being the cliffhanger for that season. And I went, what the hell? And everybody loved that cliffhanger. And I was like, well, I mean, there's no way I cannot come back for at least one episode in season 5, because I'm back, right? And, amazingly, they got me back for season 5, and then they really pushed the character and really started to really create a character. They had this whole idea about the character, about the show and everything. And I was like, damn, man, it was amazing. It was amazing. I got more and more stuff, more and more fight scenes. It was just great. And then one day, I towards the end of that show, towards the very end of the 5th season, I remember going on set and getting the script, because, as a guest star, you don't get the scripts before. You get the scripts on the day a lot of times. Sometimes you get them before, but hardly ever. So I'm in my trailer. I'm reading the stuff I have to do next on set, and I go, and Meisner dies. And I go, what? What? And I have to say that the producers, they actually talked to me after and said, we were really sorry. We should have told you before. We kind of forgot about it. We don't usually do that, I was like, what? So I had to go on set and die and know that that's it. It's like 20 years of hard work as an actor, and you finally get a role like that, and you go, I'm going to be freaking, oh my God, no, right? So I was like, wow. So I'm dead. I died, and it was a huge death. And then the show was actually not renewed for a whole season. They got a half season to finish the show, which was sad for them, but I was dead. So I was like, well, nothing to do with me. Yeah. And then I get a call for season 6, and they say, we would like you back for season 6. I said, do they know I'm dead? They go, yep. But the writers and the producers actually, because again, I've already said it so many times, I know that they were told to kill me because they wanted to have a big impact. And they also there were some people saying that it was taken away from other actors or whatever. God knows if it's true or whatever. But, you know, so they were supposed to kill me off. They weren't that happy about it either, but they killed me off. And then they brought me back as a ghost.
Yeah.
And even the studio was like, wait a minute, no, that's not the idea. It's like, no, whatever, that's how it is. And I was like, are you? And I was like, yeah. So I came back, I don't even know, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if I had like 4 episodes or 5 episodes in the beginning of that show as a ghost, which was fantastic because I was playing Meisner, who was stoic, dark, quiet, powerful. And then I came back as a ghost, and my first scene was mocking the character who kind of shot me, right? And I remember being on set, and they're like, and action, and I just took a chance of being a little cheeky and a little witty and a little, like, not at all like Meisner. And one of the guys goes, you're playing Meisner? But the director, Carlos, was like, no, this is keep that. I mean, I said, I just thought I'd take a choice because who knows what a ghost would do, right? And he goes, yeah. So do it, play with it even more. And I enjoyed that because I could be a little bit different. I could be like, I mean, there are no rules. There are no rules for a ghost. You can't say a ghost wouldn't do that.
I've not watched the series. I have seen the clips and stuff. I had to do some research stuff. Like when the guy, you're basically haunting him.
Yes,
the guy.
I'm haunting him. But I'm helping him actually in the end too.
Yeah.
To choose the right side.
Things, yeah. No, it's an interesting one. When you told that story, or you told a shorter version of that story on set, and it was really interesting. You came back as a ghost. So, and then, you know, when you played Meisner, you were all like, you had like sort of very short, very well kept beard, short hair and things. And then I watched the trailer for Chase, where you play the title character, and you have a hell of a beard. But there's another guy in that movie who has an even bigger beard, and I'm just wondering if it was I was wondering if it was even if it was an actual competition on set.
Well, he was, you know, showing me the size of his beard, and then I showed him the size of my hands, and we were good. No, Paul's cool. Paul's a cool guy. He has an amazing beard. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, his beard is phenomenal. But he's also that's kind of his little shtick thing. Yeah. You know, it's a great thing. My beard for Chase was almost an accident because I was getting ready for a film that unfortunately never happened for Willem Tell. You know Willem Tell, the story, right? I'm sure you know a lot of Americans would be like, what? Yes, the guy who shoots the apple off his kid's head. And they wanted him to be really rugged, a real, like, not kept beard at all, like big beard. And I had promised them to keep that beard until we started shooting. And then I was supposed to do Chase in between, in before that. And my director, Michael Matteo Rossi, who's amazing young up-and-coming director, said, well, can you shave the beard? And I said, I can't shave the beard. And he goes, why can you at least trim it down? I said, I can trim it down. He goes, oh man, I want my character to be like, you know, more like 80s Don Johnson, you know, kept. And I was like, well, let me just try something different. So I went the other way. I said, why doesn't he look like more like, I wanted him to be like a wolf or a lion. Because I mean, he's a killer. I don't know.
Hitman, yeah.
He's not a good guy. He's a killer, and he actually loves killing. He talks about, it's a very strange film. He talks about the fact that you got to do in life what you got to do, what you do best, and what I do best is killing people. But he tries to save the ones that he loves. So it's a very edgy film, and I just try to play it that way. And in a way, it's cool because now I have a one film where I have that huge beard. The other one, unfortunately, never happened, and it's different. It's different than, you know. And Michael, the director, after our first few days, was like, dude, I'm actually starting to really love that beard because it's so different. It's different, you know. It doesn't make you look like the Hollywood, you know, trying to be handsome killer guy, whatever. It's a little.
Yeah, exactly. Cover up the rest of that face, then, you know.
Yeah. Well, I shaved my forehead. So.
Yeah, we have exactly the same problem. We're just too handsome.
No, I'm telling you, and I'm not even the bad one in my family. I'm telling you, it's like I don't even know. I you know, people go like, oh well, you shaved. Well, you know, we're shooting in 2 weeks. We wanted the character to have a beard. I said, I can have a beard tomorrow, dude. Not a problem.
Switching away from films, something that you and I have talked a lot about is animals. And, you know, you'll have to help me with this. You're an ambassador for the Bernd Stefan Animal Welfare Foundation. Is that right? Yeah. How did you get into that?
It was a coincidence. My brother actually met them in Germany at an event, and he just talked to them, and he said, "Hey, they're looking for an ambassador. You want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So yeah,
Yeah.
been doing that. The founder of that actually passed away about a couple of years ago, so it's now being run by another person. But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that on that page, I went to the page, had a look in that, and there's a picture of Roxy, your dog, and I watched the short film when you were here.
That's a whole collage. I mean,
Oh, I watched the short film when you were here. Really, really nice. Like just like sort of from her point of view in that. And I'd like you to tell me about Roxy because you have already told me about Roxy, but I'd just like you to tell me for the podcast because if you'd like to.
no, always. I grew up with so many animals, horses, dogs. I mean, literally. I mean, we even had a fox. We had an owl. We had so. I grew up with so many animals in my life. Anything you name it, I probably grew up with. And there was a time in my life when I actually had no animals. I just came from Germany. I went back to, after England, I went to Germany, and I went back to the United States. And I wanted to do the acting and the stunt stuff, and they had a writer's strike, so I had no chance of actually getting any jobs in that, and I fell back onto the personal training, and I actually became a manager at a gym in Simi Valley, which is 40 miles up north, outside of Los Angeles. And I was running a boot camp and a gym. I was living and sleeping in the gym. Now, mind you, I do sleep on the floor. People know that about me now already. I've always said that. I don't sleep in the bed. I can't. It's just never really worked for me. Mm-hmm. But so I slept on the floor in the gym, which was fine. But I was quite depressed at that time. I wasn't very happy because I wanted, it's like, I was working my ass off training people, which I love, but I love training people in martial arts. I'm not necessarily the boot camp, and I call it the housewife boot camps, which is fun, but it's not, it doesn't give you anything to feel good about. But and then I was at a boot camp in a park, and I had about an hour to kill before I had the next boot camp, and this dog showed up and had no collar, nothing. And I went like, okay, tried to play with her a little bit, started to play with her, crazy. Got into my car to go back to my gym, which was just around the corner, to get some stuff for the next boot camp. She just jumps in my car. I said, no, you can't. You get out of my car. Threw her out of my car, and she jumped back in the car again. I was like, what the? So I took her back to the gym. Then I took her back to the boot camp. She did the boot camp, and then I was going to go back to the gym for the day, and she just came with me. From that point on, she was with me, and I tracked down, after about 2-3 weeks, I actually tracked down the owners, who I remember walking into the gym, looking at her and go, oh yeah, that's my dog. Do you want her? And I said, do I want her? And he goes, yeah, well, she's annoying. She doesn't listen. She's too much energy. She's crazy. And, we can't handle her. And I was like, from the moment I met her, she was listening like that. She was doing everything I told her. She was like, we just had a connection, man. I've never felt that in my life with any person or any animal. I kid you not. It was just special. And, I said, yeah, sure. I was even glad, because once I knew that it was going to come down to see with his dog, I was like, I don't, but I had to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And and that was it. And she became a mascot for the boot camp in Simi. Everybody in Simi Valley knew her. Then I moved back to Los Angeles, and I lived on a trail called Runyon Canyon, which is a very famous canyon here, where everybody goes hiking. And I lived in there's only one ranch up there, and there's a trailer. That's when I lived in that trailer. And she became Roxy of Runyon Canyon. I mean, everyone knew her. This is the only canyon in Los Angeles where you're allowed to have your dog off leash. So that you have hundreds of dogs off leash running around that canyon. She'd be lying in the middle of the road, in the middle of the path, and I would get phone calls. I was doing the ranch. I wasn't even looking where she was. And I would get phone calls or text messages. Hey, I think I found your dog. Because I had a tag at that point. I had a tag on with my phone number. I think I found your dog. I don't know if she's okay. She's breathing heavily. I'm like, she's sleeping, just where everybody is. She had and then we also lived at a place where there was an autistic children home, and the owner trained her to become an autistic children dog, and she worked with the kids there. And then my friend Shirley Pechprapa, who did the film Roxy, which is still, to this day, is the film I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Out of all the films I've done, that's the film I'm most proud of. I'm hardly in the film, but I think it's I like it more than anything I've ever done. Me personally, but it's maybe because
it's such a personal project for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and I remember her saying, I would like to do this film, and, you know, Roxy and blah. I was like, oh, okay, sure. And we did it. And I tell you, no training. We did the first take, and she goes, okay, let's reset. And what does Roxy do? She runs back to the first, you know, the starting point.
Yeah.
Sits down and waits and goes, and she goes, in action. And she starts doing what she has to do. I'm like, how the do you even know that? She was so smart. It was insane. As I said, I've trained dogs. I've worked with dogs. Never experienced anything like it. And yeah, she was. We were always joking because she would always outdo me. If I had I have this. I shouldn't show this because it looks like I'm self-centered. But I have this article that I have in the Los Angeles Times. Yeah, I have it as a like a little. Somebody made this for me, and I have a huge picture in that article, and who comes out more than me? Roxy. She was in all these different magazines in Germany about her, not even about me. I'm like, wait a minute. You know, Germany was doing a promotion for me on German TV about the German guy being in the show in Los Angeles, and who comes across more than me? Roxy. It was awesome.
I was going to say
so awesome.
But even the way that you're talking about her, it's you know you're saying who comes out on top, and you couldn't be filled with more pride about that fact, you know.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. So yeah. So
and then you ended up with Doodles, who, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't your cat.
Not at all. So we have neighbors that have cats, and they had Penny, Oswald, and Doodles. And unfortunately, Oswald and Penny both, one got hit by a car and the other one, I think, got taken by coyotes. There are a lot of coyotes out here. But Doodles was the old one, and he was always around. And the first time I met Doodles, I thought it was Oswald because they looked alike, and I tried to pet him, and he bit me in the hand. And I was like, okay. Then one day, my neighbors went on vacation for a month and asked me if I could take care of him. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I just literally went over there and fed him and, you know, just let him in, let him out, whatever. He wasn't interested in me at all. The day they come back, he never came into my house, which is right next door. I mean, we're like living right, you know, there's no land in between. It's like literally next to each other. And the day they come back, I had my doors open front and back because sometimes it gets really hot in here, so you have the doors open. I'm in the kitchen, I'm doing something, all of a sudden I feel something on my leg. It's the paw, and I look down, and he goes, ah! I was like, what are you doing here? And this meeting has been upgraded by the host. Oh, unlimited minutes. Okay, good.
Don't ask me why.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
They're pretty much saying I'm talking too much. But yeah, so from that day on, he never left. He hasn't left. They came here to see how he's doing, and he saw them, and he just ran away. He's like, no, fuck that.
Almost treated them like he treated you when you were across there. Like rolled
no, I think he's loving it. I think he's loving because it's a little. There's a big family over there, so there's always something going on, and it's loud, and it's like, you know. And I think because he's older, he's 16 now, so he likes to nice and quiet. You know, likes to eat, sleep, and just chill. And yeah, he totally, he's here to stay.
Awesome. Another animal lover is Samantha Jack, who's
yes.
of ours. She just wanted to tell you that she misses you and she loves you. So
oh yes. Well, we're gonna hopefully, you know, all get back when we're doing Redwood 3.
Yeah. That's coming up.
It's in my contract that she has to be the makeup artist.
There you go. Scotland. You have been here before. Before.
I am the one who found Nessie.
Yeah.
As a kid,
It turned out to be Daddy Casper.
Well, I mean, really look-wise, not much different. But anyway, a cassette tape, yeah? which we used to have. People would go, what does that mean?
Yeah, I know.
I had a cassette tape called Nessie as a kid, which I listened to religiously. I was obsessed with Nessie. And when I lived in London, I had this idea to my brother, my sister, and my then girlfriend. We all got in a car and we drove up all the way up to Edinburgh and then all the way up to Loch Ness. We wanted to, go look at the lake. There was a Loch Ness museum, which is still there, I think, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
And and then they had an actual one of those wannabe Nessie dinosaurs in a pond, and we got pictures taken in front of it and everything. But it was surprising because in the cassette tapes, I've always, as a kid, imagined I go there and I can look at the lake, and I keep looking at the lake, and then you realize the lake is huge. You don't look at that lake. You can't look at that lake. That lake goes on forever. It's like not even possible. You think as a kid, it's a small little pond, and you look at it. No, it's not like that.
I think, I might be wrong. I think it's 18 miles.
It's huge, and it's deep, deep. I know it's very deep. So Nessie. Yes, I've been there too. Never been to Aberdeen though. That side. Yeah.
Well, the question I was going to ask, how did you get involved in Red Massacre Annihilation?
Well, as I told on a podcast with David Ryan Keith, all I remember is being gagged, put in a van, and forced to sign the contract. No,
you enjoyed that. That was your most enjoyable part of coming here.
I was gonna say. I said that's why I want to do Redwood 3, please. No, I had worked with Stephen Durham before as the producer. He did Death Factory. And obviously I know Gary, and I had worked with Gary before, and Gary texted me, called me, I don't know which one, but said, hey, we're doing this film. Stephen's going to hit you up because we need an actor for this part, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay. And they said it shoots in Aberdeen, Scotland. And I was like, I mean, I'm always like, this sounds like a little adventure. This sounds like fun. I've not been to Aberdeen. Mind you, I'm going to have to work with Gary, but, I'll do my best. And so it happened.
And then you got here and you realized that Gary was like the best person to work with because the rest of us.
I was going to say, I had to meet you, and I had to meet David Ryan Keith, and I went, wow, I didn't think it could get any worse than Gary, but apparently in Scotland it does.
And then you end up getting the role of Max, who is not a nice guy.
No, so typecasting, really.
Yeah. You said it, not me.
Yeah.
You had you had the most controversial scenes in the movie. You have all
the one with John Campling in the library.
Yes.
Yes.
Even to the point the scene with Lisa Cameron, who played Pamela. That's a very, very uncomfortable scene.
And again, I want to actually point that out, which I did during the little thing we did with Danielle, and I'm sure nobody heard it. She did such an amazing job. I said that on the day off and everything. I was so impressed because that is such a hard thing to do. People always think it's easy to sit there and pretend like you're about to die or whatever. She was so good. I was really impressed. I was like, dang. Yeah. No, that was a tough scene, especially because I think that was my first scene.
Yeah, that was on. I think that was after the library shoot. We went there.
Yeah. So it was people, they kind of know you one way, and then you have to switch it on for this character, and you always kind of wonder as a person, are they going to talk to me the same way after I've done this?
Yeah.
So, and obviously not. No.
Yeah, because then it got worse.
Yeah. Oh.
And I think now that the film is out, we're getting the. It's not like I think horror fans are always looking for that 80s style gruesomeness, and I think if you don't hold back, you get some level of respect from the horror fans, but the general audience will not appreciate some of the stuff that's in the movie.
Oh hell no! Yeah,
but
it's a horror film. I mean, it is for a certain audience. And yeah, for sure.
They're very passionate about horror films, and that's why it still comes across as being gruesome, but also being good. But the podcast, the commentary that you did with Danielle, from that came that Linny, who played the dead woman on the bed, she was delighted when Danielle said she had nice boobs.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, fair enough. Why shouldn't? I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a compliment, and you know.
But yeah, even that scene's gruesome. And then there's a weird moment where you touch the leg of Luke, who's the husband who's having to watch this horrible situation. But
Right.
all these things add this creepiness level to Max, you know, and
Mhm.
none of that was directed in the script, you know.
I didn't even do it. That was all David Ryan Keith's hand. That David Ryan Keith is. I'll tell you what. Yeah, of course it was me, but honestly, the sounds, those were David Ryan Keith.
Yeah.
He had to redub that.
It's certainly,
So
don't even dare say that it was David in the mask, because David's head will just go. You'll be like, yes, that was me. I drew the spider tattoo on.
I'll tell you what, that mask. I have so much respect for Ben, who plays the monster, because of the fight scene later he does with Gary. I had that mask on just for that scene. I could not breathe in that mask at all.
And Ben.
That much to all those people complaining about the freaking COVID masks.
Yeah.
Try that, bitches.
That's he's also wearing like the snood underneath, you know. So he's got one mask and then he's got another mask.
I know.
And then it's tied tight, you know. It's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, I think you pointed out as well how rigid it is.
It's like it doesn't. It's
covered in glue, you know. So there's no
solid.
Yeah,
it's solid.
If it wasn't glued as much, you'd be able to breathe through the Hessian. But no, not at all. Nothing.
No.
I've actually got here the choreography as well. You worked with Ben and Gary on like the fight scene that they have, and you came on set on your like your days off and things to help out with the choreography and that of the fight scenes. You know, so there was a really cool thing. I was saying to Gary when he was we were doing his podcast, how the impact that he had with Ben on set, and it's the same thing for yourself. The two of you guys, like, he's not a stunt man. He's just a guy who's acts with a massive passion for horror films. But what the performance you guys got out of him and that actual fight scene, I was saying we were all in that corridor, and we're all packed in behind the camera because it was such a great thing to watch. You know, so that must be a level of pride from yourself as well to see that, and not only that, but the fight scene with Danielle, where she kicks some serious ass, you know.
Oh yeah.
And the size difference between you and her, but you've managed to put in this really cool performance. So
I love her because she makes me look tall for once. She always, you play opposite Gary, you're like, God damn it.
Yeah,
people are like, how tall are you? 4'9" or something? Like, God, Jesus. Yeah.
But
to go back to Ben, yes, proud of it, and you know, I did it because I wanted to make sure that you know, because you know, Gary is a stuntman, choreographing and stuff like that. You always want to have somebody on the camera, but you can't be on the camera and do the stunt yourself. So I think it was good that I could be on the camera and check for the hits and stuff like that, as we call it. But Ben is a shy person, but he has incredible talent. So we just had to bring it out of him, and we did. Yeah. You know, he had that. We didn't. It's not actually nothing to do with us teaching him. He actually has that naturally to get that. We just brought that out for him to have the confidence to do it. So I'm proud of that. And Danielle, the same thing. She's extremely quick. She's very quick with learning things, and she did an incredible job. Because usually, I mean, fight scenes you rehearse for freaking weeks. We had like an hour.
You guys talked about it, basically on your lunch breaks.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, on the note of Ben, Ben was in the original Redwood Massacre, and he'd done short films with us before. And it's a simple thing for us, not so much the fight scene, but when he puts that mask on, you can just put it on, and David will be like, "Okay, walk from there to here," and Ben will just do it with all his motions and things. No need for motivation or help or anything with it. It's just a case of he'll just do it.
You know, he's got some serious talent.
Yeah, you know? he's a great physical, you know, actor. When you don't see his face, he just uses his body. And also, sorry to bring this up, was your replica head a exact replica? Because it looks a lot.
Yeah, the replica head was that was an interesting story. People kept asking, "Is Arnold Schwarzenegger coming on set?" And it actually, I even looked at it and thought, it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I mean, whether I do want to or not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I do not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's like, okay, that was a weird one. But the way David Ryan Keith found a solution to it, I think, was actually kind of, I like my death scene. It's kind of amusing. It's so weird. And the whole thing of him grabbing my head, I don't want to give anything away, but grabbing my head and, making me shake like that. It's funny because people think that he would grab my head and go like this. But, as a stunt person, you know that he will put the hands on your head and you are going to be doing the shaking because you have the control over what happens. You don't want to, get hurt. So it was weird for me going, it was, oh man. Well, it's David Ryan Keith is special. That's all I'm saying, special. I'm not saying it as a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying he's special.
Throwing the spoiler book out the window. It's also John Campling's head in the movie.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, the one he kicks?
Yeah.
Yes. It's funny because when me and Danielle watched it, Danielle I'd seen it before, she hadn't. And she got a kick, haha, funny, pun intended, kick out of it. She was like, that's hilarious, it's awesome. Yeah. I almost wish that David Ryan Keith would have, but we didn't know that he was going to do that. He didn't know that he was going to do that. The very, very end, she should have kicked his head too, down the hallway.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, the whole film, Danielle never shares any on-camera time with the killer, with Ben. It's always opposite. Like when you guys did that acting, he was never in the same scene. When she shot him at the end, he wasn't opposite her. It's just the main character and the killer that killed her sister and her father never share screen time. So, but wonderfulness of the.
It's the magic of movie making.
That's what I was looking for. Thanks. I don't know where I was going from wonderfulness. Anyway, you have your own Facebook fan page and Twitter page run by Alexandra.
Yes.
Yeah, that must be
I have noticed that you have been giving her pictures.
I have. It's those pictures that you send me. Like the shower photo and the.
Yeah, exactly. When I do the pole dancing routine.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But Alex is a godsend. Honestly, I love her to bits. She is amazing. She is actually one of the reasons I honestly believe that when I was put as Meisner into hiding after season 3, she started a campaign on Damien Puckler Unofficial calling Bring Back Meisner. And she made such uproar that NBC noticed it and they brought back Meisner. Whether they brought it back because of her, I don't know, but I'm telling you, I'm sure she had something to do with it. And to this day, I mean, she's been doing so much work and I was like, man, she's awesome. She's really, really creative and good.
No, it's cool. It's like I've never known anybody to have their own fan page, so there you go.
Yeah. Well,
not one that they don't run themselves. So yeah. I mean, the David Ryan Keith fan page happened and then died. And nobody was interested. And he was trying.
I thought it was an OnlyFans account.
Oh no. He was going to go on Pornhub, but they rejected him.
Right.
There's obviously there's rumors. There's rumors of a Redwood 3. I'm not sure where it's going to be shot. I'm not sure anything like that, but there are rumors that the big 3 are coming back. The
question is, who are the big 3?
Honestly, I have to point this out. I was in stitches. I took the clip from yourself and Danielle when they're all dead at the end, and Danielle said, well, obviously the third one will be the 2 guys and the woman, and you like, well, who's gonna watch that? It just cracked me up. But it's an interesting one. We'll see what happens. Are there any projects or anything that you'd like to talk about?
No.
No. Yeah. Cool.
No. Honestly, right now, there isn't. There has been some stuff, but it's all been postponed.
Yeah.
But indefinitely, which very likely that it means never. It's again, it's a really strange time. You have no idea if, what, when, how.
Yeah.
No idea. Don't know. I mean, some productions pick back up, but they have also had productions shut back down. And I don't know. We'll see. I mean, again, we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
We're in our own little sci-fi film, horror film at the moment. So
yeah,
we're all starring in it.
Exactly. I'm just working on this for you. This one has 2 years on your one.
There you go, Calico.
Yeah. She's
Calico. 18. Wow, she looks great.
Yeah, she's. It's Tilly. So there you go, a little appearance.
Miss Tilly, is that what you said?
Look, that's Tilly, just Tilly.
Oh, Tilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really is. It's I think it was something that you and I connected.
So what you're trying to say is, in your podcast, we actually had 2 pussies and a dick. We had Doodles, Doodles and Tilly, and we had Gary Casper.
Well, you know, if you're gonna go have a dick, you may as well have a big one.
That's right.
But no, seriously, you and I connected on Redwood when you started telling me about your dog and your cat and everything.
Right.
Else. It was very much it's a great passion of yours, and
Oh, yeah.
having you on the set was great fun. People really enjoyed spending time with you. And
I wish I could say the same, but
but like the energy that you and Gary brought to set all the time was it was infectious. And it was just,
no, I really hope I get to do more projects with Gary, and also like acting with him and stuff like that. And I really do, because I do believe that whether people like it or not, or whether we have a good energy, I don't care. We are having a blast, and I think people around us are having a blast too, because it's just different. I like when people tell me that they really enjoyed it because we weren't the kind of actors that they usually get to deal with. We're just big goofs and like the. Yeah, what do you want? Like, come back now. Okay. He's like, you've been on this thing forever. What's going on? No, exactly.
That's just Doodles coming to say bye-bye as well. So, but no, seriously, Damien Puckler, thank you so much for doing this interview. It's
thank you. It was a pleasure, and I love the Gary bit. That was awesome. Good job.
I'm not going to try and think up something for my next guest. I don't know how I'm going to stop that one. Well, I'll figure something out. But no, thank you very much, and I hope you take care.
Take care. Live long and prosper.